Good morning, and welcome to the Home Show on the news station KFIX News Radio 95. This is your first stop in home improvement. Your host and building expert, Rosie Romero. Call now for free advice. Our number is 275-7679, or just remember, ASKROSY. That's Ask Rosie. 275-7679 or ASKROSY. Now, KFIX News Radio 95 invites you to Ask Rosie.
Good morning, Phoenix homeowners. You're on the Ask Rosie Homeowner Show, a show designed to help you, the homeowner, concerned with issues of home ownership, home improvement, or home maintenance. You guys early here this Saturday morning staring at a hot cup of black coffee and a long honey-do list. Give me a call before you head to the hardware store. I can give you a list of the materials that'll reduce the number of trips back and forth, maybe give you some tips on how to get the project done quicker. You single gals, y'all becoming a bigger and bigger participant of the show every week. Give me a call. Later in this show, I'm going to tell you about Jennifer, who called in last week. Remember her? She wanted the bookcases built in her living room. I'll let you know how between listening to this show and watching This Old House Tuesday nights, she's got those bookcases built already. I went out and checked on her Thursday. I'll give you the details. We'll follow up on Jennifer. Lots of open line today. That's what the show's all about, to answer your questions. Later, we'll have the tip of the week and the complaint of the week from the Registrar of Contractors. By way of announcements, we've got a free remodeling seminar coming up in 2 Saturdays. I'll be there along with a lot of the contractors from the Valley, sponsored by the National Remodeling Council. We have this week sponsor specials, as we do every week. Sinclair Paints, Salmi Appliance Warehouse, and Freelight Skylight Company, the distributor for Anderson Doors and Windows, all with specials just for the listeners of this show. As always, any caller that gets through on our line, 275-7679, will be sent a discount card that allows them the privilege of buying the material for the project they're concerned about at contractor's cost. So that's the show. That's the show. It's a show designed to help you. Lots of open line. And with that, let's go ahead and get to the first caller. The lines are lit. First caller is Baby K. Baby K in Scottsdale. She has some questions about shade screens. Hello, Baby K.
Hello, Rosie.
Hello.
I would like to know, how do you feel about insulated screens? The ones that I'm talking about are the ones when you drive around on the construction sites, you see they're black on the outside. When you go into the model homes, you can see out. And I was just wondering, how do you feel about them? Where can you get them?
If you don't mind what they do to the looks of the outside of the house, I'm a pretty big believer in them. I think they do a lot of good for what you spend. What part of the valley are you in?
Paradise Valley.
Oh, well, you live in Paradise Valley. You can afford them. I'd call the National Remodelers Council.
All right, just 1 minute. Let me get a pencil.
Tell me when you're ready.
Thank you, Rosie.
Remodelers Council, and that's 264-3135.
Gotcha.
Ask them for a couple screen installers. They'll send some of the best boys out, and you tell them you called Rosie and talked to them on the radio station, and they'll give you an extra 15% off. That'll be contractor's cost.
Oh, thank you.
You bet. Hope that helps.
May I ask you one more question?
If it's an easy one.
My kitchen needs repainting. Could you recommend someone, and should I get 2 or 3 bids?
Again, I'm not here to recommend any specific. I'd like you just to call the Remodelers Council. They're a trade association. Their members have to go through a careful screening of customer satisfaction and financial stability. Just give them a call and tell them you'd like a painter, and they'll give you a name of one of their super qualified members.
Okay, Rosie, thank you.
You betcha. Hope that helps. Yeah, you know those people in Paradise Valley, they can surely afford some screens, and she'll be happy she did it. She's going to save good money. That's not just money thrown out the window. And that takes care of the first caller of the week. Now let's go to Pat out in Scottsdale, who has some questions about a newer home. Hello, Pat.
Got a couple of questions for you. I've got a relatively new home. It's just over 2 years. It's a tract house, about 2,400 square feet, and I am continuing to have problems with, I don't know, I guess it's settling. I've had some tile in the kitchen crack repeatedly. It's been replaced once, and it's cracked again, and I've got some cracks in the drywall.
How big are cracks? These are like a piece of hair, like what we call a hairline crack?
No, there's a few of those, but I've had several cracks Oh, I'd say quarter of an inch.
Pooh, in the drywall?
Yeah,
Wow.
yeah. Couple in the kitchen area and one over the master bedroom door into the bathroom.
Quarter inch. And it's only 2 years old, huh?
Yeah, just over.
You're not in McCormick Ranch, are you?
No, I'm not. I'm north of Bell at about 57th Street.
I hadn't heard of any real soil problems out in that area. Your house is definitely settling. You should never incur a quarter-inch crack in your drywall or your ceramic tile. Is the tile cracking through the mortar joints or right across the tile on the floor?
Right across the tile.
Yeah, you're settling. That's a tough one, Pat. Boy, have you contacted your builder? You've been in it about 2 years. You know, you've got 2 years to discuss this situation with the registrar of contractors. Where are you on that?
Well, I don't know. Maybe you can give me a little direction on that. The builder was contacted originally more or less as warranty repairs during the first year or so to come back, and they replaced the kitchen tile and they repaired some of the drywall. The things I'm talking about have occurred since then. So I'm just over 2 years as far as when I actually moved in the house.
Okay. The registrar of contractors is going to look for any kind of documentation you can present that they've been there to service this same problem. The way the registrar looks at it in the state of Arizona is if they've been there, say you bought the house 2 years ago, May. A year ago, May, you called them to fix the problem. They have just reinsured that work for another 2 years.
Well, I think I'm okay then. I didn't realize that. I think I'm probably okay.
But the registrar can tend to be an adversarial position, and I'm kind of an easygoing guy. Is the builder refusing to come back and take care of the problem?
No, not really. I need to contact him on these most recent problems.
Okay, you just needed to know what your position should be.
Exactly.
Well, your position should be that this cracking is excessive. It's indication of severe settlement. And it's not to say that the house is going to continue to settle. I've seen things like this happen over the first 4 or 5 years. My parents' house has a tile crack in their hall. And it took about 4 years that they were in that house for that thing to finally quit cracking. And if they'd fix it, it'd probably be fixed for good right now. But
well,
the case is the same for you, too, that
okay.
Once that house finishes settling, it's not going to settle anymore, but it just has to find that point where it's comfortable.
All right. One more question if you got time.
Yeah, go ahead. Sure.
If the house reaches a point where it's done settling and it's still something I can live in, we're thinking for the future about closing in half of our 2-car garage for a little guest room or maybe someplace as my folks get older. And I'm just wondering how feasible that is and what kind of expense you're looking at.
Okay, now keep in mind, in that rich Scottsdale area, you're going to have a hard time reselling a 1-car garage.
That's a good point.
Okay?
Okay.
That's a tough call. Yeah, you don't have a family room that you could more conveniently turn into. The problem with putting a bathroom in the garage usually is that the closest plumbing you've got to a garage is the laundry room.
And we've got that. It's right next to it.
Great, but there's one problem. What you don't have is a drain line big enough to fit a toilet on. You need a 3-inch drain, and the drain in the laundry room is only a 2-inch. So we've got to come from your nearest bathroom either right through the middle of your house or right across your front yard and pick up that 3-inch sewer line.
Is that something that could have been addressed back when the house was being built? Is that the time to...
Some builders offer that as an option,
Okay.
to run a 3-inch to a laundry room.
Okay, well, do you have any general guidelines on what kind of cost would be involved with that sort of enclosure of a part of a garage?
The best guidelines I could give you is make sure your wife gets along with your parents.
Okay. Thank you very much, Rosie.
You bet.
Bye-bye.
All right. Well, that wraps us up for another week here on the Home Show at KFIX News Radio 95. I'm Rosie, and I'd like to thank the sponsors and most of all you listeners for tuning in. Speaking of listeners, I told y'all at the beginning of the program I'd give you an update on Jennifer from Avondale, who called last week concerning her bookcases. I want you to know I was out to her home Thursday morning to check on her. She'd built a beautiful set of bookcases after listening to the show last week and watching Norm Abram on This Old House Tuesday night, Channel 8 on TV. And I want you to know, not only did she build a beautiful set of bookcases, but while I was out there, believe it or not, She admitted to me she was 84. Now, if she'll admit that to me, heaven only knows how old she really is. Now, that will get you. Let's not get intimidated by these projects. Jennifer in Avondale certainly wasn't. Until next week, enjoy your do-it-yourself project. And if you get stuck, don't panic. Just remember to tune in next week and dial ASKROSY and ask Rosie. Adios.